Today I want to go through citation styles. As an English instructor, I have noticed that many students complain about the fact that I teach MLA in some classes. Other students complain that I teach APA in other classes. Now, it is confusing as to why there are so many different citation styles. I want to make sure all of you know, though, that citation styles and formatting styles are not instructor specific. That is, I don't choose the citation style. The degree program that you're in and the course that is a part of a certain degree program warrants a certain citation style. For example, let's look at philosophy. Let's say you're majoring in philosophy. I was a philosophy major. There is nothing wrong with being a philosophy major. And philosophy majors will use primarily MLA if they take courses in philosophy. But look at this. Political science uses Chicago and Turabian. That's a different citation style altogether. And then notice this. Psychology uses APA. That's another citation style. Generally, there are three: MLA, Chicago, and APA. And your major will dictate the citation style that you're using or your course. It isn't on some sort of whim of your instructor or professor. It has nothing to do with that. It is the degree program, and the courses within a certain degree program uses a certain citation style. Would I like all of the degree programs to get together and decide on one citation style? Yes. It would make my life so much easier because actually I have to teach all three: APA, Chicago, and MLA. So it's confusing to me as well. Well, because most of you are using APA or MLA in your majors, I'm going to help you with the format of both. Now, note that I might engage in a little double speaking, and this is not the perfect video. However, I'm going to do what I can to help you. I hope this is useful for you. So let's pull up Word. Okay, so the first citation formatting style that I'm going to show you is MLA, Modern Language Association, primarily used in English and literature courses, writing courses, and as we know, philosophy courses, if you happen to take a philosophy class, which you should. Very important, very helpful major. In any case, let's go back to MLA. The first thing you want to do is you're going to want to put your last name and page number in the header. You don't want to just put it right in the major portion of your essay. You've got to put it in the header, and here's how you do that. You click on Insert, you click on Page Numbers, make sure Show Number on First Page is clicked, and I'll show you why with APA later. Position should be top of the page and the alignment should be right. You click OK, I'm going to click Cancel. Then double click on the header. Put your cursor to the left of the number and you type in your last name. Make sure that this is 12 font Times New Roman. And in fact, your entire essay will be in 12 font Times New Roman. Then you make sure everything is aligned to the left for the first page in the headers. You put your name, your first and last name, your instructor's full name with the proper title. Sometimes your instructor is a doctor. Sometimes your instructor is not a doctor. In that case, you would use Mr., Ms., Miss, or Mrs., whatever the case may be. Then you put your course, then you put the date. After that, immediately following, you put the title of your paper. That is centered. Notice how all of this is double-spaced. I'm going to highlight this. Then what I'll do is click on Format, click on Paragraph. I'll change the spacing before and after to 0. Make sure the line spacing is double. I'll click Cancel, but you should click OK. If you do not, I'm going to go back here real quick because I want to show, because a lot of you make this mistake. Make sure these are set to 0 because sometimes the automatic setting is something else and you end up getting triple spacing in between each paragraph. You shouldn't do that in MLA. You just want a regular double space throughout your essay. All right, so you want to have your title of your paper in the center that right here, and then the rest of it, you align it to the left. Always tab in your essay one time for each paragraph. And generally, I want to let you know, because I'm going to show you how to do subject headings for APA. Generally, you do not need to use subject headings in MLA. If you do, it's probably because you're writing a longer essay like a dissertation or a long research project. If so, you use an Arabic number, the period, and then the title of the heading like this. Now, I'm going to go through briefly citations with you, but if you need more help, you need to contact a website or look at some of my other videos. But for MLA, briefly, here's a sample in-text citation. You put the author's last name and then you put the page. You don't put a comma here. You don't put the year here. That's APA. MLA is just the author's last name, page, no comma. But here's another example that many of you actually use. You use articles that generally don't have an author's last name. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes you find these sorts of articles. And it doesn't have a page either, right? So what you would do is you would put the article title in quotation marks. Don't even need to add the page. Here's another example that I didn't show you here. What if you start and you have the author's last name in the actual sentence and there's no page? For example, Smith states that whatever. Well, in that case, if there is no page, you don't need to include a citation because you've mentioned the author's name in this sentence. That's a really brief overview. Hopefully that's helpful. Now I'm going to scroll down and notice how the last name appears on every page because I put in the header. And then I wanted to give you some works cited samples. So first, you don't put references in the center. That is APA. Instead, you put works cited in the center, and it's works cited. Capitalized works, capitalized cited. For a website, you would put the author's last name, comma, first name, period. The article title in quotation marks because it's a shorter work, so it's quotation marks, period. Website in italics because it's a longer work, so you put longer works in italics, comma, URL, date access. Be wary because this is a recent change with MLA. Some sources will show you and say that you need to put print or web. That's an older version of MLA. You no longer have to do that anymore. Instead, you need to cite this way, where you put the URL and the date access. If you have no author, then you put the article title in quotation marks, the website in parentheses, the URL, and the access date access. Now, some of you might be using peer-reviewed articles. My advice is if you're getting it from a database, look for the cite link. Click on that cite link and change the citation method to MLA. That way you don't have to format it yourself. However, if you have to, unfortunately, it is a little long and annoying, but here's how you do it. Last name, first name, period, comma here. And in fact, you put the last name and the first name here as well, as I explained, but you can see it a little better here. Title of the article, again in quotation marks because it's short. Even the longer research papers are shorter than a book, a movie, a novel. So you put that in quotation marks. Then the title of the journal is italicized, comma. Volume number, comma. Issue number, comma. If you don't have a volume number and issue number, don't include it. Then the year, colon, page range, if you have it. If you don't, year period, okay? Title of the database, comma, URL, period, access date. Now there are variations for this, of course, but this is just a brief information on how to format and cite MLA style. Now I'm going to switch over and I am going to put up my APA sample. So I'm going to scroll to the top. I find APA a little more complicated than MLA because Students often get confused by this, the running head. It's such a pain in everyone's side because people put the running head in the actual body of the essay, and so when your instructor grades your essay, the running head keeps going down and down and down as they're putting in notes. It's very annoying, and it's hard because you don't have the running head on every page. You just have it on the first page. Well, remember I talked to you in MLA about how you need to unclick or click show number on first page when you're inserting your page numbers. Well, in APA, you actually have to unclick that. So let's go ahead and look at this. Click on Insert, click on Page Numbers. Notice how this is unclicked because I'm going to hand type my page number in there. All right? Top of the page, alignment right, unclick this. In APA, you don't want this. Click OK. I'm going to click Cancel because I already have the model here. Double click on this. Type in running head, your title in all caps. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it, and hopefully I do it right so I don't have to redo this entire video for you guys. But anyway, okay, so I'm going to do running head and then title in all caps. Then, and this is my way, I'm sure there's a fancier way to do this, but I press the space bar. Like I said, I'm an English person, so I'm not an expert at APA, but this is the way I do it. And then I go over to home and I make sure it's Times New Roman and 12 font. Thankfully, that's the same with APA. All right? So every other page, though, will have the page number here. And so there are two ways to do it. You can have the page number here, and then you could type in your title and press, space, 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 or luckily you can just click over here and type your title too, which is a little easier. But note, running head, title in all caps on the first page, then after that, it's always just the title in all caps. All right, so then partially the way down, you put your title. And if it's a longer title, you can put a colon here and then put the second part of your title if you want underneath that. But note that all of this is double spaced. So, and it's regular. It's not, the title is not in all caps. It's just the first letter of each major word. Then you put your name first and last, and then you name your college or university. All right. Then, some instructors require an abstract, especially with longer papers. I often do not because a lot of my papers are shorter. However, if you're doing a research project or some sort of longer project for your course, you probably will have to write an abstract. This is just a brief summary, and you put that after the first page, after the cover page, okay? And sometimes you have to write keywords, the major words that you're going to be discussing in your essay. So to do that, you put keywords in italics and then you type in your keywords, however many keywords you happen to have. All right. So the keywords here is formatting because that's all I'm doing today. All right. Then you scroll down and I'm going to show you section headings for APA. Your actual title is centered, but it is not bolded. Then you type in your first paragraph. You tab it in just like MLA. And you include, of course, your thesis statement. If you don't know what a thesis statement is, you need to consult some of my other videos so I can explain it to you. I'm assuming you know what that is. The thesis statement is the final part of your introduction. So I should say, instead of first paragraph, it really is your introductory section, and sometimes that can be longer than one paragraph, especially for longer projects. Your first section should be bolded, and then you type in your first section. Then the second section should be bolded. For each section, you center it and then you bold it. Now, APA also allows for subsections. If you're getting to that point where you have major sections and subsections, you need to contact look into another source. Some of my other videos will show you how to do this. This is just a basic overview for now. All right, so you also probably need to add some in-text citations, and my explanation here will be rather short. But your in-text citations will include, if you have it, the author's last name, the year, and the page number. All right? That's if you have all of these things. If you don't have an author, then you do this. Put the article title in quotation marks, comma, and year. Remember, this is different than MLA. MLA just had the article title and the page number if you had it, or article title if there is no page number. You don't include a comma and a year in MLA, but you do in APA. I often see students confuse this. This is the mistake that students make most often. Remember, MLA has no year. APA has the year. MLA has no comma. APA includes the comma. Those are the big confusing differences between the two, and that's what students make the most mistakes with. So please remember that. If you mention the author's name in the sentence, you put the year immediately after you mention that author's name, all right? And then you say the quotations or the paraphrase or the summary, and you add an in-text citation with the page number, but only if there is one. If there isn't one, then you just put the author in the sentence and the year. Hopefully that makes sense. In any case, let's scroll down. All right, I'm going to pull up my references because it should be at the top of the page. So references is centered. It is not works cited. That's MLA. References is what you use for APA. Your references will often look like this. Author's last name, first initial of the first name, and you put an and sign here, ampersand, if you have another author. Then you put the date of publication in parentheses, period, but you only capitalize the first word of the title. This is another error I see a lot of students make, is that they capitalize every word in the title. Don't do that. You only capitalize the first word of the title. Then, and proper nouns, sorry. And if you have a colon, you want to capitalize the first letter following the colon as well. All right, sorry, I should have included that. Retrieve from, and then your URL. All right, I went through that. Now here's another one. This is for a journal, okay? Very similar. Authors, date of publication, title of the article, but only capitalize the first word of the article title. Remember in MLA, we put quotations around it and we had each word capitalized. APA, you only capitalize the first word. Title of the journal, italicize. Volume number, if you know it. If you don't worry about it. And then the retrieve from URL. All right, guys. Hopefully I didn't confuse you. Hopefully this helped. You know what to do. If you have any questions, message me. I'm more than happy to help you. I hope all of you have a wonderful day and good luck on all your papers. Goodbye.